Hello, you beautiful humans. I hope you're all having a spectacular day. Welcome to another week, another installment of the Virtus Performance Podcast. Before I get stuck into today's guest, I'd like to thank everyone who's been listening so far. This is week 51, which is 1 week short of my goal of doing 52 podcasts in a year. So it's a pretty cool feeling to be very, very close to this goal. And I think that now I've gotten to this point, now I've almost hit the 52 week mark. I'm shifting my goal to the 100, to the triple digits. I think it'll be a bit silly and a bit maybe frustrating if I was to stop now, because I'm, finally, I'm starting to build momentum, and I'm starting to really, every week, every conversation, every podcast, I'm enjoying that little bit more, meeting new people and talking to people I know and learning more about them. So in today's episode, I sat down with Amanda Connell, who is the brains behind Holistic Hikes, which is a obviously holistic because it's called Holistic Hikes, is a holistic health nutrition business, a coaching business, which has been designed, has been founded to bring people more in touch with the outdoors and to allow people to give people the empowerment, or to empower people to, I guess, take control of their health and well-being and nutrition and things like that, and to do it in an environment that is, I guess, perfect for connection and growth and learning in the outdoors. So we spoke about Amanda's journey, about why she does what she does, about the things that drive her, and we went a little off track and spoke about the health industry and I guess the way things have been done, and the fact that the way things have been done might not necessarily be the best way of things going forward. So we had a really good conversation about health, happiness, mindfulness, nutrition and learning, and I'm really, really excited for you guys to meet her. So enjoy. My personal and business goal is to be just a little bit better every day. I believe everyone, especially normal people, have a story to tell. The Virtus podcast exists to help us all find small ways of consistent improvement by discussing the journey and experiences of each of our guests. Amanda, good morning. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you on after meeting you last week.
Yeah, it was very fantastic meeting, meeting in the mind.
What did you say last week? We should have just recorded that chat instead.
It would have been a lot better.
So today's just going to be a repeat of that conversation, hopefully a little better.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit more fun. All right, first question for you. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Well, generally it's my husband with a pot of coffee, because also, I don't know, I guess my passion and my drive to really help others from the way that I've seen my own healing happen, through nature therapy, through nutrition. So it's really, really driven to sort of help others with their holistic health and getting their life sort of in balance, because it's a bit of a shit fight every day.
Oh yeah, it is. What does that word mean to you when you say holistic? What do you mean? Because I think it's one of the buzzwords that's kind of thrown out everywhere at the moment.
100%. So to me, it's holistic is all encompassing. So it's our mind, our body, and our spirit. So in order to have balanced health, we need to consider social, emotional, environmental factors, as well as nutrition, so that we really find that balance. Because you can have a great diet, but if your mindset is off, and you've got a really negative self-talk within yourself, you're still going to have sort of disease there, disease of the mind, disease of the gut. So yeah.
Have you always been someone who looks at the world holistically and looks at health holistically?
No, not always. It probably started for me about 16 years ago when I was a young mum. So I was 20, and I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes anemia, calcium deficiency, and my doctor sat there and wrote out prescriptions.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I was pretty confronted with that because I was never really one to take medication, but I thought, there's got to be a natural way to do this. So through my own research and self-education, I sort of, stumbled upon the holistic sort of world, as you would say, and found, my healing through nutrition.
That's awesome.
So
what was
it started.
So take us back, into, if you can, a little bit into the mindset then of going like, well, I've got all these things I've got to deal with. The doctor's, I guess, first port of call is medication.
Yeah.
What was the process like to, I guess, turn away from that and move towards the holistic route?
I think that I didn't see the fix in a pill. I just didn't. It was just something that didn't sit with me. And again, the whole holistic approach is that it's so innate. It's from within you, and it's finding the balance because it looks different for everybody. So I guess again, to answer your question, the process for me was it didn't sit comfortably, and I had to discover why. So I've always sort of been really inquisitive about things. And so I sort of just started reading about, calcium deficiency. What do I need to do? What foods do I need to eat? I've never really been a big dairy consumer, but then I found that obviously calcium is through other food and you don't need to get that. So it's sort of, stepping away from mainstream marketing of where you should derive your, calcium, vitamin D and etc. from. So a lot of self-education, and then just followed that through. Found that I found the solutions to my own problems without having to fill out a script. So that was pretty empowering.
So many people's, I guess, passion and drive comes from dealing with stuff themselves. What was your first point of call in terms of where did you find that information? Where did you go to find how about calcium deficiencies and gestational diabetes and things like that? Where'd you look?
Okay, so I guess, the internet wasn't really as much as what it is now.
True.
Wasn't
that long ago.
There was a lot of diaries, not diaries, it was the library I was looking into. My brother was a chef at some stage, so I sort of went through a lot of his old books. My mum was a nurse, so again, pulling out some of the books that sort of she had on the bookshelf, and just sort of being really interested in finding, how our body works and sort of it was a lot of books, and I still enjoy books now and folding pages rather than sort of just everything.
It was definitely something we bonded over last week.
Yeah.
Having the actual book.
I do. I really I enjoy books, the smell, the feel. And just to have them on my bookshelf and to use them as a Bible, I sort of go back and reference them and dog-ear pages, and it's just something that if I'm a little bit lost, I can pick it up again and
very cool.
Sort of go back to. So that's awesome. I guess where it started.
I like that. Where did it progress from there? So obviously being a young mum at 20 must be a big change.
Yeah, it's a very big change. So in more ways than just nutritionally.
Yeah.
So there was. It was a pretty turbulent relationship that I was into. So again, my mental health sort of suffered, and over the years I did end up with adrenal fatigue. So that was again, sort of educating myself. I did see naturopaths, nutritionists, and it sort of sparked that interest in studying a little bit further, just to see how I could help myself through eating well, kind words, and what it was like, getting out in nature. That was always something for me that I would always just sort of do that to sort of detox, or if I was like, I just got to walk it off, I'd go for a walk and find that.
And it'd make you feel better.
Yeah.
And you started to find your, I guess, peace and comfort from nature.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
100%.
That's awesome. So you went off and studied after?
Well, I studied the certificate of nutrition.
Awesome.
I was looking at doing a university degree, either in dietetics or nutrition.
Cool.
However, I've sort of found this coaching solution, and I find that for me, people's answers are within them. So as a dietitian or a nutritionist, sometimes they sort of dictate what people should do, and go, here's a plan for you, this is what I think you should do based on what you've told me.
Yep.
Whereas with coaching, it's really a lot of motivational interviewing, and it's teasing out the answers from within that person. So
Definitely.
they actually arrive at their own solutions. So they're more likely to instigate that change because they've come up with their own solutions. So to me, I find that coaching in my favourite, environment, being out in nature, is just the ideal solution.
Best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
It's super cool. And it's a really interesting, I guess, point you brought up about individuals who are passionate about a certain subject going off to uni and doing a topic and then being taught the same stuff as everyone else, being taught coursework and curriculum, which is important and necessary for most degrees, but then you lose that sense of autonomy and sense of being able to question whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
And they never actually, for the most part, obviously, like, you've been able to experience it and actually learn by doing, but like, we certainly get a lot of internship students in that haven't necessarily experienced the things they're teaching.
Yes.
And I think you tend to most people go full circle with uni. They go in having a passion and having tried things and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, being taught the straight and narrow, straight down the train tracks way of thinking, and then after uni they kind of go full circle back to the trying and learning and things like that with that added knowledge. And I think that's a really important thing to discern, thing that you've identified, is the fact that you being able to coach and educate and, I guess, mentor your clients into actually making the decisions themselves and coming to the answers themselves and figuring out what's wrong. Because when we understand what's going on with ourselves, we don't necessarily need to just follow the book in terms of nutrition and health and things like that.
Yeah,
because everyone's different.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. We're all unique, and we need to.
And we're all the same at the same time.
Are we the same? We're different. I think we're the same in some aspects. We're certainly the same, but I think that nutrition, people have certain issues that they can't eat certain foods, they can or they can't.
Definitely.
And even mentally, people have got different barriers and challenges that they've got to work around.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a different approach to everybody.
What do you feel is the biggest, I guess, barrier to behaviour change? Do you think it's mindset, or do you think it's knowledge and understanding?
It can be a bit of both. So people have limiting self-beliefs. So one of the things that we work through are values. So people can sort of determine where their values have come from. Are they, from their family, their upbringing, or is it something that they've carried through socially, environmentally? So our values sort of come from everywhere. So I really I like to sort of strip it back down, and all these sort of worksheets and things like that I've worked through myself as well through the course of my time, and reevaluated, because at different points in your life you've got different values and different beliefs, and that's okay to change. I don't think that anyone should just be stagnant or stubborn and just have the same beliefs. I think that if we're forever learning, we're forever educating ourselves, then our belief systems are going to change. So again, I think it's people's limiting self-beliefs. A lot of people don't know how to motivate themselves. Again, it's whether they're intrinsically motivated or whether it's an external factor, whether they, are driven by rewards. So determining what's right for each person, I can sort of then, frame that around them for them.
Have you had people that you have struggled to work with? Have been struggled to actually help them get to where they want to get to? Yeah,
certainly, and I reflect that on, as well. That's my abilities, that's my learning. I need to learn new and different ways to adapt to people that are difficult, that are, hesitant to change, because people like to sort of, be comfortable where they're at. People are scared of change. People generally don't say yes. People turn away from uncomfortableness. So it's sort of just trying to find what will motivate them to change. Yeah. And I guess an example of that would be, people that have like fad diets that have just tried every fad diet and recirculating over that time. So it's trying to provide an education about reframing the simplistic approach to nutrition, and it's not about whether you're paleo or keto or this or that. It's just simplified, like what is the basis of what we need nutritionally, and then encapsulating that in the holistic side. So what's their mental, social, environmental factors that wrap around that for them. So Yeah, I mean, there's certainly challenging people, but as I said, it's something that I need to sort of adapt and change.
Coaches always go back to, okay, I need to fix myself to help them, which is it's a really interesting show of like who you are and the fact that you look inward before you look outward, which I think is really cool. One of my favorite books is Mindset by Carol Dweck. Have you read it?
No, I haven't.
So really simply, it's people are split into two categories. You're either growth mindset or fixed mindset. The growth mindset are the people that want to figure out they're wrong and want to learn the new way, and fixed mindset obviously is just they're stuck in that self-fulfilling prophecy of I can't change because of this, and this, and then never do. And it's a really, really interesting. It's a really interesting look at the human psyche and to how important mindset is to actually improving and growing. Like we encounter clients more often than we would like that are in that fixed mindset, and you try and teach them, and they just don't want to listen. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind me talking about it, but he did a whole podcast about it, so he wouldn't mind. But a couple of weeks ago, Josh Kaiser was on a podcast. Someone who was a client of ours a couple of years ago and was impossible to coach, just wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
And he's kind of gone on this little journey of self-discovery and awareness, and now he listens and he understands that he doesn't know everything, and he's someone that I've seen shift from that kind of fixed mindset to the growth mindset.
How rewarding.
But it just takes time, and he's not there yet. Like he's definitely like I'm not there yet. So like there's definitely.
I don't think we're ever there.
No, we're never there, which is the frustrating part. But when I make it, I'll be happy, right? But when this happens, I'll be happy. What are the education, I guess, tools or things that you use to help people shift from that fixed to that growth mindset? Or what are the ways you deal with it?
I guess there's a lot of different tools, I guess, that you can use. We use a lot of measures, I guess, in coaching. So you can sort of measure where they're at, go through I'm just trying to find the word, sorry.
Don't know.
Yeah, I guess, sort of just measure where they're at and where they've gone. Sometimes if they self-reflect and they've seen that they've made a little bit of a change, that can almost motivate them. They sort of get this little spark in them that can sort of keep driving them forward.
I see one little win.
It's sort of gauging things like that.
That's cool. I just realised that we haven't actually talked about what you do properly. So, elevator pitch. It can be a long elevator ride. Pitch what you do to everyone that has no idea. If you just meet someone on the street and they say, hey, what do you do? Load up.
Okay, so I'm a nutrition and health coach, and I deliver my sessions hiking in nature to reap the benefits of everything that our environment, particularly here on the Mornington Peninsula, has to offer.
It's not the worst part of the world.
No, it's not, certainly not. So any of our sessions can be run from beach sessions to bush sessions, and there's a little bit of information that I provide along the way about the benefits of walking in nature. So
it's pretty cool, because I think it's when Beck, my sister, first told me about you, I was like, that is a really cool idea, because I'm someone that loves getting out and experiencing just the world around us through travel and through just little hikes, even in the park out the back of the gym, like a half an hour walk around those 3 football ovals, and I feel like a different person. So why did you decide to take the plunge with this idea, and where did it all come from?
Okay, so just a whole lot of self-belief and my husband motivating me to actually do what I say that I really want to do. So,
good for him.
That's, again, it's really good to have someone, that sees something in you and shares your vision and, sort of motivates you as well. So, really, decided to push forward with the nutrition and, combine it with the nature therapy, because from my own personal experience over the years, I've really had some quite turbulent years of dealing with close family members with depression, anxiety, self-harm, and then just recently cancer. So it's just something that's I've found in dealing with it, I've helped them obviously nutritionally, but then just getting out in nature and walking and hiking, it lowers your blood pressure. It's just got so many benefits that it's just like, I don't understand why people aren't doing it more. So to me, ideally, like this business was incorporating the two things that I'm most passionate about and doing it for a living.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just,
And it's awesome because you're filling a gap, because I don't think it seems like a very simple idea, right? And I think that's almost like the cool thing about it is it's such a basic, simple idea. Hey, let's go out and have a conversation about what you're blocked on or what you're struggling with or where you want to get to. And let's do it outside in a really cool environment.
Yeah.
It's such a simple thing to look at. Do you find some clients or some people you talk to, are you met with resistance from them, or do they just like kind of go, that's awesome, let's do it?
I think that there can be certainly resistance, particularly with winter. So I've sort of just written a post about the winter blues and the SAD, which is your seasonal affective disorder. So that's just more about like how, we retreat indoors, we're not getting the sunshine, we're not getting our vitamin D levels, so melatonin's thrown out, we're not sleeping as well, which affects your mood. Your serotonin levels decreased, so it's there's just so many, it's tenfold effects by just not getting out in nature. So I'm certainly met with some resistance. All my clients that actually go through intake process with them first to make sure that they are clear for it. I've got first aid, asthma, things like that. So there's a lot of people that be like, is it a big hike up a mountain? So I do assure you there's some really gentle, really gentle walks. I've definitely got some more challenging hikes for anyone that's keen, but it is just more or less a gentle walk, walking in nature. And the really cool thing about holistic hikes is that when you're walking and you're talking and you're like really trying to overcome obstacles or challenges or find solutions, it engages both the left and the right side of your brain. So you sort of, you're thinking logically and more creatively as well. So it's sort of...
That's pretty cool.
It's something simple, but to me, it's just something that I know works for me, so it can work for other people. Yeah,
and that's the cool thing. I tend to find that I like writing and kind of sharing my experiences. Obviously started podcasts and stuff, but I like writing the stuff I'm struggling with, because I figure like, yes, we're all unique snowflakes, but we're also very similar in a lot of different ways. And I think if I'm struggling with it, there's a good chance that a fair chunk of the population is struggling with it, especially the people that are in similar positions and doing things the same way I am. So I think it's really cool that you're able to take your experiences and your learnings and your development and go, all right, I want to help other people. Where do you see yourself taking it over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah, certainly. Look, I've got some grand plans, so
Good.
I think that I'll fine-tune them, but I certainly see, I've got mindfulness walks, gratitude hikes. I really want to do some work and some collaboration with some local businesses. I think that that's just something that
if you have to.
Sorry. But yeah, I think that, there is no ceiling on this. I think
that's
that
cool.
Just keep expanding, keep writing down ideas and growing it, because, I think once you sort of create a cap, then you're only capping yourself.
100%.
So,
That's cool.
This can go global.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already thinking about like international, like big hiking weeks and big trips and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Well, last week we were talking about the Nepal one, so definitely I've got some connections, so I can sort of facilitate some really awesome hikes over there.
That's really
and
cool.
I've got some Sherpas all lined up.
That's the dream. Sherpas lined up. Have you done a lot of travel overseas in Australia?
I actually didn't travel until about 6 years ago. My first overseas trip was to Nepal.
Awesome.
And I hiked the Annapurna region, which was just mind-blowing.
Very cool.
Definitely put me out of my comfort zone, but I think that's something that just really makes you grow. But that was amazing. And then since then I've sort of we've travelled to Bali, done Mount Agung, which is the climb to the summit there, which is actually a volcano.
It didn't erupt?
No, it didn't
Good.
erupt, but
Good.
I did get proposed to, so that was pretty exciting.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, so like my husband's pretty outdoorsy type as well.
Yeah, good.
So we've got some pretty cool things planned in the future
Awesome.
with our kids and everything. So
Very cool. How many kids do you have?
3 daughters.
Daughters, how old?
They're 8, almost 10 and 16.
Awesome. Big handful.
Yeah, incredibly. He does really well though.
Good, yeah. 4 on
Thanks,
1.
man.
4 on 1, that must be tough.
Yeah. No, he's a very strong man, so I think it's a solid man that can deal with 4 women.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. 3 sisters. I know how he feels. Talk to me about how you found your love for nature. And is it something that you grew up with? Is it something that has happened over the last few years? How did you fall in love with the outdoors?
Yeah, sure. So as a kid, I grew up with 2 older brothers, and my grandparents had a farm up in Heathcote, which my parents now live on. So there was lots of sheep, dams, creeks, motorbikes, and we were sort of always outdoors. Both my parents were camp leaders for underprivileged kids through the Lions Club.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. We were sort of exposed to abseiling and rafting.
Awesome.
And some pretty cool outdoorsy stuff. So I'm very natural like that. Love the environment, just
Good.
and challenging. So I've always been around nature. We've had our farm up in Heathcote, which is just beautiful, and always lived on the coast. So
Nice.
really got to enjoy both the country and the Mornington Peninsula for what it is. So
Yeah.
and then as I got older, it was more about hiking and travelling and seeing all the other green spaces everywhere else. That's pretty cool.
That's super cool. It's a big world, and it's there's so many. It's really interesting because I think I find a lot of people I know try and go overseas to, and I can't really talk because I've just been overseas, but go overseas to experience these amazing places, but forget how many amazing places we have in our own backyard.
Yeah. Yes.
Like from Grampians to Cathedral Ranges to
Great Ocean Road.
to Wilson's Prom to like just the peninsula. Like you don't have to go very far to get outside and go for a walk. And one of the things that a good friend of mine's taught me, albeit with a little bit of resistance from me, is just walking slowly. And I'm always like going from one place to another and moving quickly. Like I think I ran past you before.
Yeah. It's okay.
And it's made me walk slowly when it and it's something that I try and remember whenever I'm outside, just to walk slowly and be mindful of what I'm doing. And this is a very long-winded question, but I knew where I was going with it. What is mindfulness to you? Because I think it's a word like holistic that's thrown around a lot, and it's kind of a buzzword at the moment, but what does that mean to you?
Mindfulness to me is connecting innately, so internally with all your senses, your 5 senses, which then engages your 6. So, the touch.
Seeing dead people?
Well, I can do that too.
Depends on the movie.
I'm pretty clever, so. Well, you could do that. But it's really about, the sights, the smells, and what you're feeling, and sort of what you can touch, like touching the water, touching the leaves.
Yeah.
When I'm out in nature, I'll pick off a leaf and then I'll rub it between my fingers and I smell it and I just get that warm sort of feeling inside. And it probably sounds a little bit creepy or whatever, but there's something really engaging. And I think that with mindfulness, it's really about being present and really connecting with all your senses to get this feeling of it. And I guess it is your 6th sense. Like your feeling of being connected. And you feel so small, I guess, when you're out in nature, and the world is just such a big place, and it sort of puts things into perspective. So that's where I find a lot of the stress relief comes from, and it's just, yeah, it's really, really cool, and it's cool to see all the research into what nature does to cortisol and how what our lives, the way we live them with like phones and laptops and recording devices and microphones and things sitting in front of us, how much that puts us
like back from what we actually should be and should be doing. Do you have some tips for people that you might, I guess, send them off with homework, things like that after hikes? Do you have tips for people to kind of reconnect to the environment and nature and everything outside of the four walls of the house?
Well, certainly. I mean, you can even do it within the four walls. So, even encouraging plants, like having pot plants and succulents.
You've already told me. All right, I'll get some plants.
And real ones. So it's, you can bring those plants inside your house. I mean, not everyone has the access to go for a bushwalk every day.
Yeah.
But I think just, bringing plants into your house, it will just create a happier mood. There's things like the snake tongue or the mother-in-law's tongue. Sansevieria, I think it is. I think I just, murdered the word for it, but sorry.
Yeah, close enough.
But that's like a really good air purifier at night, particularly, to have in your bedroom. So things like that. I think too, it is just setting some rules with yourself as far as like how you want to engage with social media.
Yeah, I like
Don't go to bed at night with your phone. Like maybe leave it out of the bedroom. If you can't leave it out of the bedroom, give yourself 5 minutes. I think I read the same thing from your post, but give yourself a time limit and go, I'm going to do this and stick to it. Because I think that, you can sort of get sucked into just that scrolling and this and that. It's sort of really being mindful of how much time you're spending on it. I think there's some apps now that even track how much time you're spending on your social media, so you can sort of really get a bigger picture, because you don't necessarily realise how many times that you just open that app. So, and
if you're on your iPhone now or listening to this, if you go into your settings and then go into battery, you can actually look at your battery usage since last time you charged it and see what you've actually been doing, and how much time you've spent. So if you click on last 7 days and then put the camera up, or the little clock up, you can see how much time you've spent on each different app in the last week.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Which is very confronting.
That's just the iPhone though?
That's just the iPhone. Yeah. I assume Android would do the same thing. But it just shows you how much time it's been on screen and how much time it's been on the background. So when you look at it and you've got 40 minutes of Facebook a day, there's 40 minutes when we tell ourselves we don't have enough time.
Yeah, and people do.
And that was my actual 40 minutes a day, which is rubbish. I need to fix that. Over the last week, I've averaged 40 minutes on Facebook a day. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I tell myself excuses like I'm pushing business content and stuff, but mostly it's scrolling. That stuff takes 5 minutes at a time.
But that's it. It's really, I guess, being honest with yourself and finding what you're doing and where you do have the time again. And, another tip, I guess, too, you were saying with really sort of reconnecting with nature, something I do quite often. I run around barefoot. So when I'm out pegging out the washing, I've got my feet directly connected to the earth. It might sound pretty hippie,
it's
but
definitely not.
Try it. It's
I can sound hippie, but I can vouch for that from a movement point of view and from a proprioception point of view.
Yeah.
It's huge. Like I tell most of our clients most of the time take their shoes off for whatever we're doing. And there's always a couple that you met with a little resistance, and I kind of use the example as if you put your hand in a fist and wrapped your hand up for 90% of the day, how well do you think your fingers would work? And it's when the ground is your feet are the one place where we're in contact with the ground most of the time. If we have an unproprioceptive environment there, then everything up the chain isn't going to work as well. And if we're able to take shoes off for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day and actually get moving, every muscle, bone, joint in your foot starts to move a little bit more efficiently, which means everything up the chain is going to move more efficiently, which means you're going to end up with a really proprioceptive environment.
Yeah, and a solid foundation.
Yeah, it's a foundation to like everything. And apart from having to clean the dirt out, it's a really nice feeling having dirt and sand and things like that between your toes.
But there's just so many nutrients in that dirt, so embrace it.
yeah, exactly. Enjoy it, and that's something that we've kind of, in the 21st century age of technology, we've kind of gone away from, just that connection with the earth.
But it's like everything, where as far as you grow that way, you need to counterbalance it. So you need to find that balance, and it's finding that balance in everyday life as well as with the balance of technology. So I'm not anti-technology, but I think that everything in moderation, and there needs to be some real balance. So it's just finding that.
For me, it just comes back to awareness. And I think, like, if I'm aware that I'm in shoes most of the day, then I'll do my best to, when I get my clients to take it off for a group class, I'll take mine off as well. Or, you know, if I know like Thursdays for me is usually a big office day, so I know that if I'm in the office all day, I need to go out for a walk, or, you know, catch up with someone for a coffee, or something that's going to get me out of my current environment. Because I think as humans, I think we suffer the most. I'm working on a blog post around this, but I've still got a little bit to go. But we suffer the most when we do the same things over and over again. We suffer the most through repetition. So if we do the same gym session every day, we're going to suffer because we're not going to improve. If we eat the same foods every day, we're going to suffer because we're not eating a wide variety of nutrients. So that's kind of, I don't know, I'm working on a little post about that, because I think it's really important to pattern interrupt your day and do something different. Whether it's,
so I'm going to change it up a bit.
Yeah, because we get stuck into habits, like whether it's a good habit like going for a walk outside with no shoes on, or whether it's a bad habit like scrolling our phone. We get stuck into habits. And I think when we're mindful and aware of those habits, we can make a decision one way or the other, whether we want to do more or less of it.
Yeah, definitely, and drive the good ones.
That's exactly right. I don't want to delve too deep into it, because I think it's a topic that is really hard to talk about for a lot of people. But what have been, for the people that you see, and like I can talk about the times we've seen at the gym, what have been the benefits from movement and walking and getting outside on things like depression and anxiety? What do you see? Because we can talk about the science and things behind it, but from a right? That's right. Phone calls happen all the time. I turn my vibration off. It's the best. Except I miss calls all the time. What have you seen in terms of benefits, both physiologically and psychologically, in terms of depression and mental illness, from people that you are able to go out walks with and talk to over your time doing what you're doing?
Yeah, certainly. So I think just that gentle walk again. You find that people, once they're out walking, it's like an automatic response. People don't have to think about walking. Obviously in the gym it's a little bit different. The exercises, they've got to think about it. And me, I'm so uncoordinated. Walking's really a simple, automated activity. So again, when you're engaging that sort of coaching in that environment, and we're just talking and walking, people do become more mindful. Again, that directly correlates to improved mood. They're aware of their surroundings, and again, there's the scientific backings behind it, which lowers blood pressure. It suppresses the sympathetic nervous system, so as far as the flight and fight response mode,
definitely,
and sort of makes you feel a lot more balanced and calm. So I think in the long term of walking, so one of my family members was diagnosed with cancer recently. She's all good, but getting out and walking with her, so it was like sort of just 3 kilometres a day, and it was there's still cars around and things like that, but she's out in nature, she's around the trees, her mood's improved, her ability to deal with stressful situations has improved.
That's very cool.
In conjunction with nutrition, a lot of the food that she's, it's based on what she's already been eating, but fine-tuning it to just, improve her immunity, to improve things like that. So I think that, I've certainly seen some changes just from the walking aspect. There's just so many things and so many benefits that it really gives them. And it's such a simple task. So people repeat it because it is so simple. And, they feel great afterwards. And they don't necessarily know why they feel great, and whether we're having a really in-depth conversation about challenges or we're just having a conversation that's quite jovial and lighthearted. You come back, you feel a little bit invigorated, you've got, cool wind on your face, and
just feels great.
You've just, you've pumped up your heart rate a little bit, but, to a healthy level, and
get everything moving, and it's not from one thing you have to do to another, or it's not through a shopping centre, or it's not like that. It's actually out.
And I think it's just, again, it's just that movement, and it's automated and simple. but it's really effective.
That's cool. It must be cool kind of going full circle a little bit to being the young mum 16 years ago who's been, I guess, have all these prescriptions put in front of you and gone and learnt about yourself and the human body and how we can better approach some of those issues, to now being that person that people come to help them improve those issues with them.
Certainly. It is. It's amazing. I just, it's something I'm really passionate about, and when people meet me, I can be a little bit,
That's the best way to be.
I like to call it vivacious, but I'm very passionate. I love what I do, and if I can just help one person, like I already have,
It's cool.
If I can help one person, that's all I want to do. Like, just even the simplest thing. If I don't need to make the biggest change in their life, but if it's something simple as getting out and just improving their mood a little bit, they're more likely to go and do it again for themselves, whether it's with me or without me. I just think that I'd be able to impart some sort of knowledge and insight.
But your passion's contagious, because people will see how much you love how much you love it all, and they'll either do it with you or go and do it themselves or want to go do it. Like right now, I just want to go for a walk outside.
We can if you want. Take our shoes off, though.
You take your shoes off, and I'll just carry the laptop with me. But where was I going with that? I was going to ask you a question. Shit, I forgot. Oh well. I was going to ask you about, do you think doctors, rightly or wrongly, are too quick to just throw prescriptions at people?
I have an experience in GP clinics.
Yeah.
I do. But sadly, their education in their however many years of schooling, so say 6 years of schooling, they've probably got 1 day, 1 hour on nutrition.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And that nutrition education is so outdated, probably working off the 1970s food pyramid, which is completely wrong. So I think that there needs to be more education on nutrition and a plant-based diet.
Definitely.
Benefits of whole foods, rather than sort of just, prescribing medications for something that can be, like myself, that I've had experience with, easily overturned. I mean, obviously some things are a little bit more serious and they need doctors. So I'm not dismissing their whole professional field, but I feel like there needs to be more education with GPs at school level. Yeah,
well, I think one of the things that, because obviously this is a topic that I talk about a lot with my staff and friends and family, because it's something I'm really passionate about. I think the medical industry and surgical industry all has its place, because it's there to fix things when things go wrong, fix things when things go bad, when there's serious diseases that happen, or diseases or injuries or whatever happen for certain reasons, it's there for that reason. I think we've kind of used, rather than using it as a last point of call, we've used it as a first point of call, and it's created a society where we get a little cough, we go to the doctors. We get a little bit of a cold, we want antibiotics. We want to fix it now. We want that quick fix. Whereas we know that, as health professionals, that doesn't work. And it's really interesting, because I think we're asking, because we talk about things like only doing nutrition for a day or half a day in their degree, and I've lucky enough to have a couple of really close friends just finish their medical degrees, and now they're out working and things like that. And I think we kind of miss the point a little bit, because I think doctors are there to treat illnesses and diseases and injuries and things like that, and surgeons are there to fix certain things, but I think there should be a whole new profession that's there to determine who someone should go and see, and that's just a recipe for corruption. But that's beside the point. I'm living in a utopian mindset right now where everything works perfectly. But I think there should be some sort of person or profession that, someone's got an issue, they're seen to have nutrient deficiencies, or they've got a strained calf muscle, or they are genuinely sick, or they've dislocated their shoulder, who's able to tell that person who they should go and see. Because right now it's just everyone goes to a doctor. And like I see clients of mine or clients of ours, they'll say, I rolled my ankle on the weekend. I'm seeing a GP tomorrow. I'm like, why are you seeing a GP for a rolled ankle? Like, that's physio's role,
but
right?
I think it's education as well.
Yeah.
People do just go back to the GP because they trust that their physician's going to know everything and anything, and they don't have that sort of broad education.
Yeah.
It's
just education about people understanding roles, right? Like, I think if you got most people and you said, what's the difference between an osteopath, a chiropractor, a physio, and a myotherapist, they probably wouldn't be able to give you a decent answer. And it's really scary when they've got 4 distinct, and yes, they overlap, of course, which is, I guess, where some of the confusion comes in. They've got 4 distinct roles and responsibilities and outcomes you can get from going into each of those. And it's the same with nutrition, right? Like, if someone's struggling with, fatigue or whatever, they'll more quickly go to a GP to try and find what vitamin or mineral they should be having, rather than in tablet form, rather than actually going to a dietitian or going to someone who can actually tell them, okay, well, here's what a balanced diet for you should look like.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really have a solution to the problem, which is the most frustrating part. But
you came up with your utopian solution, but it's
But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. I think, like in any team, I think if you look at the health and wellbeing industry as a team, everyone's got their role to play.
Yeah.
And it's up to us as people who are starting to try and change the way things are done to keep pushing that. And that's why I love what you're doing, because it starts to culminate the importance of being outdoors with the importance of understanding you as a person and yourself, and then having that nutrition knowledge to back it up.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Perfect world. What would you change about? This is a huge question. What would you change about the health industry if you had a magic wand and could just wave it?
I would have complete clarity with marketing, because I think that's where everyone's confusion comes from.
Definitely.
People, for years it's been, fat was bad, so they put sugar in everything. So it's since the dawn of time, it's been just one big marketing thing. You don't see, a beetroot marketed or a broccoli marketed because it doesn't need to.
Hey, I've seen the Mandy ads. Isn't there a no ad?
But it's just, if you're eating a whole food,
it
doesn't need advertising, it doesn't need marketing, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
When you're trying to sell something and trying to sell a benefit because it doesn't really have one, or it's in a packet, you should be really considering it.
Yeah.
So to me, I would completely... I don't think I can do away with marketing because it's a necessary evil of this world, but I think that it really creates the confusion, and that's where I'm looking to really simplify it for people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think... I actually don't know the answer to this question, but where do you get your food from? Do you just... local farms, things like that, or just Coles?
Look, it's a bit of everywhere, so I'm not going to beat everyone up not eating organic. We don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Where we can, we eat organic. Where we can, we eat free range chicken, meat, things like that. But it is predominantly plant-based diet. I still shop at the supermarket. I'm a normal person. My husband shops half the time because he's Mr. Amazing. But, I'm not going to beat him up and be like, hey, honey, we need to go get the organic broccoli from 5,000 kilometres away. So it's, it's about achievable everyday life steps. So
and finding what works.
And at the moment, we're just renovating our house so we can build a massive veggie patch, and I can we can produce all our own food. So
very cool.
Very much self-sufficient like that. And
is that the plan? To be self-sufficient for a certain period of time?
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
So that's it. People have got busy lives, and the supermarket's there for a reason, but it's just knowing too, one of the services I offer is actually a supermarket too, where I go around and educate people what to eat, what not to eat, sort of, and sort of give them a guide list of hey, this is what you're currently eating, and how to read labels. Again, it comes back to that question. If I could change one thing, it's marketing.
Yeah.
because something says healthy and light, and people will be like, "Hey, great, this is good for me," because they've been fed that information without any sort of substantial.
Yeah, it's a really hard one, because I think marketing's definitely got a big role to play in it, and it's definitely responsible for everything that we do consume. But at the same time, we're all adults. We can all make our own decisions. So, like, we can't just pass the buck and say that it's not. And I think when people like you look at that list of scripts and lists of prescriptions, and go, you know what, this isn't on. Like, I want to change it, and I want to figure out how I can make it work. Then the more people that can be doing things like that on a day-to-day basis, the more this whole movement is going to start getting legs and start changing. Start hiking, yeah. Exactly. Because I think it's really interesting. I have some conversations. I got a few friends that are like vegan for a bunch of different reasons, and that, you know, like, will be completely anti like takeaway coffee cups and straws and factory farming and things like that. And I struggle with all of the absolutes, with all of that kind of stuff, because I see well, this is why that's a thing. Like, this is why supermarkets exist. Like, this is why factory farming exists. And I think it's gonna be a really interesting, like, 10, 20 years for the food health industries as we start to wade through the bullshit and through all the crap of how things are produced, and people actually start demanding really good quality food, or
demanding clarity around where their food comes from.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So, and I think too, you know, I'm not an absolute anything. I'm all about living. So I drink, you know, and there's things that I do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not anti-drinking. I'm not vegan. Yeah, I know, it's looking at all the gin here. We love it. But, and, you know, and people that are, that's fine. I work within everyone's parameters. So it's not something that I'm there to judge you and say you should eat meat, you should do this. My own 16-year-old daughter turned vegan a month ago. Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to cook, but hey, you know what, I've got to support her. But at the same time, in supporting her doing that, she's a 16-year-old with nutritional needs that I'm, you know, I don't know if the 16-year-old's really going to listen to her mum. Maybe if I was like, I don't know. Yeah,
but I think it's just, and it's a hard position you're in, because, like, the last person 16-year-old's going to listen to is mum.
But I think, you know, with clients that are vegan, vegetarian, whatever they are, you know, if you're dairy intolerant, this and that, I work within those areas to find that you make sure you don't get the deficiencies, that you're then compensating with something else, and I think that's where it all comes into, again, it's you can make your own. It's
empowering those guys to make their own decisions, but then, like, do their own research. And that's do their own research with maybe some peer-reviewed literature, not a Pete Evans blog or something like that. Or like a 30-second video you saw, or like a 5-minute YouTube video that you listen to and did my research. Because I think that's what frustrates me a lot with a lot of those things. Like, people will watch a YouTube or a Netflix documentary that's purely tailored to show one point of view and say, I've done my research. And it's just like, well, you haven't.
But also too, through that, you've got to look at who's funding it.
100%.
You know, like your five tick systems that's in the supermarkets, Nestle. So, you know, my lorry's got 4 or 5 different types of sugars in it, and it's 4-5-star rating. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's outrageous.
So you've really got to look at who's backing the studies and who's paying for it.
I think there's one of, I can't remember what documentary it was, one of the ones on Netflix that came out and everyone's like talking about it, and then, you know, a bunch of scientists came out and disproved all of the things that, like, it was a health documentary. I can't remember what it was. Because there's so bloody many now, and they disproved everything, and it's just like, well, like, why is this thing still up if we've shown that it's not the truth? And it's really easy for people with agendas, or like big businesses with agendas like Nestle or
but it's a big business, and that's what before we were saying about marketing, like everyone's just marketing these big businesses, so it's really self-education, and then
Yeah.
that's what, you know, myself, yourself, it's all about, educating and sharing that knowledge and
Yeah.
getting people excited and doing their own research and making their own decisions based off what's fact and what's...
Definitely. And I think it's like, I ask myself the question, okay, who stands to benefit from this? Like, I use the example with my clients, like if you go to a surgeon and ask them whether you should have surgery on your injured shoulder, the surgeon's probably going to say yes. Like if you go to a high quality physio and ask them if you should have surgery on your shoulder, there's a good chance that physio is going to say, you know what, let's see what exercise does, let's see what rehabilitation does. And I think when you can look at it like that and go, well, everyone's going to think that what they offer is the best way of doing it. And when you as an individual and the professional can look at it and say, okay, what's best for the client, like what's best for the person, what's best for the individual, then they can start, and they understand their role in it as well. You can start to figure out, okay, this is the best option one, and then we work on option two if we need to.
It's that objective perspective.
Definitely, and I think like that's like why I resonate with what you do so well is because there's no absolutes. It's let's go for a walk, get outside. That's a tick. Everyone wins with that. Yeah. And let's have a conversation. Bang. There's another tick because we're learning about someone and someone's able to tell their story and someone's able to. You've got that, I guess, social bond and connection that's so important as humans. And then so that's a tick. And then you start talking about the importance of like the holistic way of living and listening to them. And I think like tick, 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 like, and then from there it's either refer out or they go off on their own, or someone you see regularly. And I think that's a really cool system because like you obviously love what you do, and it sounds like your clients will love what you do. So yeah, it's awesome. It's really, really cool. So good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Pat on the back. All right, I've got a bunch of quick questions for you, and they can be quick answers or that you can load up. I just want to see where you're at with a few things. Cool.
Sure.
All right, some are really hard, some are a little bit easier. First one. Have you had a defining moment?
I've had a bunch.
Awesome.
Yeah, a bunch, and I don't think that it's ever really one moment that I went, aha.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of life experience in the last sort of 16 years.
That's cool.
So
awesome.
Sort of got me to where I am now.
Nice. What's your favourite fun fact?
Fun fact.
Yeah, that's one of the easier questions.
Oh, I don't know that it's easy.
Come on.
It's a fun fact. You put me on the spot, I'm like stuck. I don't know, hiking's awesome.
That's true. That's not over much of a fact though. I got a fun fact for you.
Yeah, you give me yours then.
Or an article that Greg shared yesterday. If you improve your sleep by 6%, so what's that? Not much, 20 minutes, half an hour, then you get a 19% decrease in cortisol.
Okay.
It's outrageous. That is some good numbers.
That is
I like those odds.
Yeah, I like your fun fact.
Yeah, so find 6% more sleep.
Oh, I do pretty well with my sleep, man.
Good from you. I'm jealous. I'm working on it. It's my one room for improvement at the
Go
moment.
for a hike.
Yeah, true. What advice would you give the 15-year-old version of yourself?
Ask my daughter. I've given her plenty of advice.
What do you wish she knew now that you know now? What do you wish she would understand that you know now?
Just self-education.
Yeah.
So self-educate. And I'd say it to her. I tell her what I know. But I'm her mum, so she's not going to listen. So I'm like, here's the research. Here's the link. Go find out. Read for yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Self-education, 100%.
And that's really important.
And belief in self. Because I think that's taken me a long time to sort of get there, and even still I have my days where I'm...
We all do, don't we?
Yeah,
don't worry.
And that makes me human, so...
On that belief thing, what allows you to get back to like those days when you're not really believing in yourself? What allows you to get back to it?
Well, again, it's flipping that, negative, positive cycle. So... Yeah. it's self-talk. So, even this morning I sort of said something negative to myself and I heard myself, I pulled myself up and I'm like, hey, reframe.
Yeah.
Turn around, I'm like, nah, you've got this. You're going to, and you
That's
just sort of
really
reframe it. And even if you don't necessarily 100% believe it, you say it and you smile.
100%.
Then you're going to start feeling it.
It does.
So,
it definitely works like that.
Yeah, and I think that's really, being mindful to listen to self-talk.
Yeah, I think that like mindfulness is really important. Self-talk, you start to realize that you're not your thoughts and you're not what you tell yourself, that there's deeper under the like surface level thoughts, there's that subconscious that is there to like help guide you, and like in your head you're just trying to figure it out. I think a lot of people get stuck in that negative cycle of just getting stuck into, well, that's what I said to myself, so that's what I'm going to believe. But you can say something to yourself and then go, you know what, no, that's bullshit, I'm going to...
But again, it's the absolute, nothing's ever absolute.
Oh, good, I like that. If money wasn't an issue and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life?
Exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, I love that answer. Good, everyone should have that answer. What's your next big trip or travel idea or plan?
Business, personal?
Both, either.
Well...
Hopefully it's the same. Could be the same.
Yeah. I don't know. I know I've got some pretty big plans coming on, but I guess I've got some pretty cool hikes going away this year with my husband and some friends. So we're doing the Bright region for a weekend away.
Awesome.
So going to get up there and about and just sort of suss out that area with potential hikes to run from there. Yeah. Like it's just something I'll have a sticky beacon, see if that's there. And then in September we're doing the Great Ocean Road again. So I guess, my husband and I did that a few years ago, but we did it in 2.5 days, so it's 100 kilometres.
So you went bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, pretty insane. So they recommend 5 to 7, and we thought they were pretty good walkers, so we did it quicker.
Yeah, we've done a couple of those, and it's ended in a couple of days of not being able to move.
Yeah, we were pretty much that, but oh my God, M&Ms I've never tasted so good. But yeah, so no, got some pretty cool trips coming up this year, and I think business, and stay tuned because I think exciting. It's just... There's going to be some pretty cool things happening. That's very cool. Do you have a morning routine? Yeah, sure. So generally, hubby gets me out of bed with coffee. Good for him. I'm pretty much a stickler for my veggies for brekkie. So we've sort of got a routine that we've got obviously 3 kids, so getting them up in the morning, that's kind of looks a little bit crazy, but hey, I'm pretty sure everyone's the same as well. So, have a glass of water, lemon, salt, have you? So sort of just try and get your body started that way. I'm like everyone else, I don't do it every morning, but I try to. Yeah, that's really true. I've just started on every morning I have a big glass of water with rock salt and lemon. Yeah. And I love it. It's like a homemade Gatorade. Without all the crap. Yeah, I couldn't drink any of that sugar stuff. I just feel like I'm giving my organs a bath. Yeah, and you really are. I just feel fresh after I've had it. Yeah, well, we've got 4 lemon trees, so we've got stunning lemons. So very cool. But so it's usually something along those lines, and it's always sort of family and getting kids ready for school, so it's just like everyone else's great life. Go. Yep. Yeah, definitely. But I think in an ideal world I'd love to say that I do yoga and meditate and have my lemon water, but it's that's the thing, not always a reality. It doesn't have to be like that. No, not at all. And that's the cool thing. That's like, I think the whole social media side of like morning routines and success and all that kind of stuff, like it's starting to show the crap and it's starting to show the crap stuff. Sorry, not the crap, but it's starting to show the crap stuff and the things that don't work and aren't perfect. Like my goal is to get up at 5 a.m. every day, and yesterday I somehow snoozed my alarm without realizing and woke up at 5:40 and went, shit, I got to get to work in 10 minutes, and like that happens. Like that's life, but I'm not going to let that ruin the rest of my week of getting up at 5. And I think that's when you can like stuff up, you be aware of it and then move forward. And like it doesn't matter if you don't have the yoga and the meditation and all those things, because you just make it work. No, it doesn't, and it's real. It's like really what's achievable for people. So I think that if I'm going to sit here and sort of make up this ideal simplistic life happening, world, but it's not necessarily going to be that way. So that's really interesting. If you could be remembered in one sentence, what would it be? I guess what I want and what I will be remembered is probably two different things, but I think I want to be remembered as someone that's passionate about what I do and passionate about what I believe. And I think that's what people who know me really sort of resonate with anyway, that it's...
I like it. Very cool.
Yeah.
What is success to you?
Success, I think, it's just happiness, balance, family, love.
Yeah.
Just...
It's a good pile of words. It's a really good pile of words.
Yeah, I think...
Nice. I like it. What are you most proud of?
What I've been through, where I've come from, and what I am, and
Awesome.
my family.
Good. Now, the flip side of that question, what are you most ashamed of?
See, I don't really think that I'm ashamed of anything. I think that every lesson should be, bought from anything.
Yeah.
So, I've made some pretty shitty decisions in my life, and not necessarily ashamed of anything that I've done, but...
Learn from them.
Yeah, I've certainly learned from them and learned, like those, you sort of reflect on where you were and why you did things, and I think that's part of growth, so...
It's a good answer. I say it's a good answer because I can tell when Keandra, my girlfriend's been listening to the podcast, because she'll just come out with one of the questions that I ask, and the other night she goes, what are you most ashamed of? I'm like, which episode are we listening to? But that's exactly the answer I gave her. I'm like, there's like you said, I've made shitty decisions, I've stuffed up, I've done things that I'm not proud of, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm ashamed of it, because if I was in that same position or in that same environment again, I would make a different decision and I'd change it. And I think that's life, being able to learn from it.
But I think that's where it's, everything that I've been through, everything good and bad, has got me to where I am today, and that's who I am. It's made me the person I am. So
there's no point
I don't want to be like, and I'm in such a great place that I don't want to be anyone else. So awesome. I take the good and the bad together, and it equals me.
Good. Do you have a hero?
My husband. That sounds a bit sucky, but he really is. I think that my hero in him is the patience. I think that that's a skill that I'm yet to sort of really fine tune.
Yeah.
And it's I know that it's it's definitely one of my weaknesses. So I look at that in him, and I just
awesome.
He's got it going on. So
I like it.
I just I need to keep learning from him, and we learn from each other, and we grow together.
It's nice when you have someone like that you can learn from.
Yeah,
I've got plenty of those people in my life. It's cool. All right, I want a really short answer, because this ended up being like a 25-minute answer on one of the podcasts. If you could add 3 subjects to the school curriculum, what would they be?
Well, I guess mindfulness, gratitude classes together.
Yep.
That would sort of encapsulate that whole self-love, self-belief, self-respect, just...
It's amazing how often that comes up.
Creating just a powerhouse of a person internally.
Yeah.
Cooking classes, they don't really encapsulate what they really should.
Cooking at school doesn't inspire.
I don't want to learn how to make scones. Teach me how to, make an omelette with vegetables, or how to, just sort of really integrate that whole food side of nutrition. I think that should be carried through.
Yeah.
Guess what's the third? I don't know. What have I really wanted in school? I think something just maybe business. I remember doing accounting and thinking, what the hell?
This is so boring.
But I think that, not necessarily a business class per se, but just something that sort of gives you a little bit more life skills. So whether it's an outdoor education class, it's like, hey, he's business, he's outdoorsy, sort of encapsulating both of those together, that sort of delivers some, this just, sort of gives people that little bit more of
an understanding of the outside world and how they're actually going to deal with life when it happens.
Yeah, and maybe present different scenarios, and rather than your outdoor ed class where you're teaching orienteering and things like that, something maybe that just gets them more outdoors and sort of group bonding and anti-bullying, all that sort of stuff. That sort of side of life where we're not really taught those skills until we're in a workplace and we're like, hey, we're feeling this, we're feeling that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'd go to that class.
Yeah, I would too.
All right. If you could invite 3 people to dinner, dead or alive, who would they be and why? I love this question. Everyone always gives me that response. So many people. So many.
Do you know, I could go away from this and be like, why didn't I say that? So...
Yeah, you will. That'll definitely happen. 3 people, come on.
3 people. It's really stuck.
No rush, mate. Everyone,
just pause.
No.
Pause.
Everyone can just press that little 15-second speed thingy.
I don't. It's really got me stuck. I think that there's a lot of people that sort of inspire me.
Good, name 3 of them.
All right. Look, I guess Tony Robbins. He's
good.
Yeah, he's someone that sort of. I guess his story, he's just what he's come from to where he is and how he's built this.
It's a crazy human.
Like he'd be really awesome and really inspiring.
Yeah, good.
I want to say Buddha because of the life he lived before he became Buddha.
Yeah.
So he'd be really pretty awesome. And the third, don't know. Can I invite myself?
You'll already be there. No, don't waste an invite.
So don't waste an invite. I've got 2 incredible people there already, so how long's my dinner party?
As long as you
Am I cooking? Maybe I need to invite a chef. There you go.
Hey, that's not a bad one.
God.
Actually, no one's given that answer.
Jamie Oliver.
There you go.
Boom. He's just, he doesn't have to talk, he can just cook. Because then I know that we're getting like really awesome, nutritious food.
Good.
And
See, the first person that's thought about the food side of things. It's very important.
we need a chef.
I feel as though I'd be listening and talking to... I wouldn't be talking if there were those 3 people, but I'd be listening too much to be able to eat. I'd be like, just talk. It's very cool. All right, last question. Favourite quote?
Well, John Muir's on my website quoted in saying that in every walk in nature... I've just forgotten the quote now because I'm on the spot. Sorry.
Come on.
Embarrassing. Oh my goodness. In every walk within nature, I've just forgotten it.
Oh no.
How embarrassing.
That's outrageous.
I'm human.
It's on your own website.
I know, I'm human. Sorry.
It happens.
Anyway.
Whereabouts is it on your website?
On the homepage. But it's, I mean, look, I've got lots of different quotes and I don't necessarily memorise them because, again, I'm not absolute. It's just something that's, I think that whatever drives you, you can create your own bloody quotes.
Yeah.
So.
Good. I like that.
I'll create my own quote now. It's like, you're one hike away from a good mood, so.
Oh, write that down. That's good. Yeah. That's very good. Put that on instead of...
my John Muir, I can't
just
quote.
Get rid of in every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. John Muir, you're out.
Sorry, John.
You're in.
But you know what? He was an amazing man and he was actually a nature conservationist for America. So that's for cool. A lot of people that don't know, he was one of the pioneers.
There's your 3rd person for your dinner party.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I've got Jamie cooking, so...
Nah.
Do I keep
He's out the back. He's back of the house. How can people find out about Holistic Hikes? How can people find out about you? Pump yourself up. Go.
All right.
This is your favourite thing, right?
No, it's not my favourite thing. Look, I'm on Insta, Facebook, Holistic Hikes, and www.holistichikes.com. You can email me at amanda@holistichikes.com. But just awesome. Get in touch anyway, socially. You can give me a buzz. I'd love to meet people face to face, the real connection. I don't want to do this shitty online program for you. I want to meet you. I want to know who you are. I want you to meet me. I want you to feel my vibe and then we'll go from there.
Awesome.
See what I can do for you.
I'm sure we'll have to get you and the Virtus family involved very quickly, very soon. It'll be awesome. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.